Hello, welcome back to Adventure Freaks. I'm Ray, and we are here to help you discover beautiful and affordable destinations for living and retiring abroad. Are you thinking about retiring or moving overseas? Well, if so, we have something special for you today. We've gathered the top tips from expats around the globe to help you make the best informed decisions before you make the big move. Whether you're dreaming of sandy beaches, historic cities, or roaming countrysides, the experiences of these expats may provide invaluable insights and advice that you may not have experienced. We hope that these insights and tips prove valuable for you and anybody interested in retiring or moving abroad. So let's dive in now and hear what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I live in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. I'm originally from New York City and San Francisco, and now I live here in Brazil, and I love every minute of it. I've been living in and coming to Salvador over 20 years now. And the message I want to give to people out there is that we've all been suffering worldwide, and especially in developed countries like the United States, Canada, Europe, etc., from inflation, the high cost of living, rising prices. And if you're have a limited budget, you're living on Social Security or a pension, you're older or younger, any age, and you're really feeling depressed, despondent, overwhelmed, burdened by the high cost of living and the stress in your home country, I strongly believe that there is an option, and that is leaving your home country, in my case, leaving the United States and moving abroad to a country where the cost of living is much, much lower. In our world and on Earth, there's something like 200 countries, and you can find yours. Now, you might not be able to move to Germany, the UK, or France, or another expensive country, but there are plenty of countries where the cost of living is much lower. I found Brazil, the cost of living here is significantly lower. My rent for this one-bedroom apartment is less than $400 a month. That wouldn't get me a shoebox back in San Francisco. And my total monthly income from Social Security is $1,500, and I'd be either homeless and or hungry back home. But here I live very, very well, and that amount of money covers my rent, my food, my bills, and everything else, and I still have money left over at the end of the month to put into savings for other kinds of travel. That's the first message I want to give. And the second one is not to be afraid, not to be a victim of the media and believe the big wide world out there is dangerous and scary. You know, here, Brazil, it's if you look at certain lists, it's listed as the 13th most dangerous city in the world, and Brazil has a reputation also for crime. Yet I've been living in and coming to Brazil for 25 years. I'm alive, I'm well, I'm happy, I'm safe. So don't believe the hype, the media exaggerations, if it bleeds, it leads emphasis of the news. Go out there and find your paradise, find your happiness. Doesn't have to be Brazil. This is the place that I found for me, but there are plenty of other countries and places and cities and towns and countrysides around the world that might be perfect for you. You might be happier and have a lot more disposable income than you do back in your home country. So get out there, explore, have an adventure, and enjoy. Ciao.
Hello, good evening. My name's Ramona Di Viola, and I'm a North American immigrant now living in Uruguay. I prefer not to call myself an expat because I plan on staying here for the rest of my life and to truly integrate into Uruguayan society. I don't want to feel like I'm something external to them. So that's my first point to make about when you move to a foreign country, things you should do. For the first 6 months, you should expect kind of an emotional roller coaster, if not for a whole year. You've moved to a different country, so don't expect things to be the same as where you came from. You really have to be very flexible and very adaptive, but I salute you for being brave and taking off on a new venture in your life. Learn the language. That's really key. You should really try to embrace, if you're in a non-English speaking country or whatever language that your native language is, try to adapt and understand and learn the new language of the country where you're at. It will get you leaps and bounds forward in your new situation. Then remember, courtesy and respect is not only appreciated, but it's very much reciprocated. I live in Uruguay, and these are some of the nicest, kindest, most open-hearted people I've ever met in my life. I've lived in a lot of different places around the world, and Uruguay by far is just a very, very welcoming and accepting place. Make friends with the locals. Get outside of your comfort zone. Don't spend time with other people from your native country or people that speak the same language as you. It will really hinder your ability to really adapt and integrate into this country that you're now living in. And then the last thing that I'd like to say is trust your intuition. Even though it might be an emotional time for you, not everybody is going to have your best interest at heart. So be sure to key into that little voice. If something is saying it's not right, trust that. I applaud you for taking this adventure, and I wish you all the luck in the world in the place that you've chosen to be your new home.
Hello from Paraguay. There are many lessons to learn when moving abroad, but I would say that the most important is to try to adapt to where you are rather than bending it to your will. There is no need to go native, but if you can at least to some degree see the place through local eyes, then you will find it far easier to live there and a far more enjoyable experience doing so.
Hey Ray, so I gave your question lots of thought, and what I think that every expat needs to know before making the big move, ironically, is that it's not a great idea to listen to people's advice, regardless of their experience or their expertise. Moving to Mexico is so profoundly different for everybody that I think we really need to be cautious when we're listening to people's opinions. Everyone has a different opinion and a different experience because of infinite contributing factors that make that the reality. So I would say if you're thinking about moving to Mexico, do your research, but also remember that not everything that's on the internet is true. Remember that everyone's opinions are from their own perspective, and that can be completely different than yours. And at times it's going to be a lot harder than you expect, and at times it's going to be a lot easier and more magical and incredible. No one can tell you whether it's going to be worth it for you or not. So my best advice when it all comes down to it is to follow your own heart and your own intuition. Circumstances are never going to be perfect for you to leave, so don't get stuck in analysis paralysis, and take the leap if you are compelled. If you're not compelled, I wouldn't push it.
Hi, this is Brant coming to you from sunny Turkey with my top tip for people who are considering moving overseas and living there. Top tip is to spend a little time in your target location at its worst possible time. Normally that would be when the weather is bad, because if you like it when the weather's bad, like too cold or too hot, then you will definitely like it when the weather is good. That's my top tip.
Hi, I'm Piali. I've been an expat for the past 3 years, and I've been asked to give, like what? Top advice for expats. So first advice is always choose a country to move where you vibe with the culture. If you don't, it's gonna be a rough ride. Second is you should have means to survive. You should earn enough so that you can survive in the given market pricing and stuff. Third top advice is always be open to embrace a new culture. Every country has different customs, different cultures, and if you're open to learn, to explore, and to embrace up to a certain extent, it helps. And learning a language always helps. If you learn the local language, you can participate in all the conversation, have all the gossip. It's fun. And final recommendation is always wear your best smile. Smiles make friends.
Hey, this is Christopher Minori on my shaky cam. Sorry about that. So, R asked me to kind of give an idea of what lessons I've learned since I've been here. And when I first did the video, I kind of mentioned one of the most important things is to meet people, meet friends, right? Otherwise, you're going to feel disconnected. And I still stand by that. If you're here by yourself, you're going to get lonely. You're going to feel like a fish out of water. And, good chance you're not going to make it. Once you start meeting friends, you get kind of these lifelines. You get these people in your life who you care about. And now all of a sudden you're sharing experiences and it feels more like a home. So what I've learned most, and that is still true, but you have to be prepared that people come and go here in Panama and in Boquete. That's really what I've learned, right? So I've had so many friends who are very good, close friends. One guy like my brother, right? And they've since moved away. My brother went back to Africa. Other friends have moved back to the States. Another couple I know have moved to a different place in Panama, which isn't so bad because I still get to see them, but they're like 6 hours away, right? So that's the big thing is, absolutely put yourself out there, make a lot of friends, but understand that here, friends come and go. When that first started happening to me, I made the mistake of stop making friends, right? Because you're just going to lose them. And that was a huge mistake because you need those people in your life. So get into friendships, get close with people, but understand there's always a chance that people who are here today will not be here tomorrow. But don't let that stop you from continuing to meet people. And new people are flying into Boquete and Panama every day. And so many of them are wonderful people. So give them a chance. That's what I've learned. Don't let friends moving away stop you from putting yourself out there on the market. Okay? Anyway, move to Boquete. Bye.
When moving overseas, it's very important to learn how much your dollar is worth. If you're moving to Europe right now, the dollar only buys 92 cents worth of a euro. So basically a euro costs you $1.08. This means that if you have an income of $30,000 a year, $2,400 of that will be spent on exchange rates. So pay attention to it. It's always available at xe.com. And when you are figuring out the cost of things, also be aware of the fact that liters and kilograms are 10% more than an American quart or an American pound. A kilo is 2.2 pounds. A liter is 1.1 quarts. So you get your 10 cents in exchange rate back in goods.
Hi guys, my name's Tom Starkey. I've been living in Cambodia for 5 years. I would say that my top two pieces of advice are, firstly, wear a smile wherever you go and get ready to learn the language. Even little bits if you can, and also bring some nice clothes, not just backpacker clothes, because you'll get invited to some weddings and some nice places.
Hi, I'm Debbie Skirm. I'm Celebrant Spain. I have an independent business in Spain here, officiating symbolic wedding ceremonies. And the most important thing I have learned while I've been here in my 15 years in Spain is simply learn the language. And I don't mean restaurant Spanish, I mean learn the language properly. Have a proper conversation with people. You will miss out on so much if you don't. So go on a course, immerse yourself. It is never too late. Don't think you're too old. You are not. I'm 60 and I learned it. So learn the language and you will have the best experience ever.
Hello, this is Ganway Living in Rio de Janeiro. Just here to drop a few tips. Whether you decide to stay in Rio on a short-term basis, whether it's 6 months or whatever the case, or you decide you want to retire here or you want to expatriate, these are some tips that will definitely help you as pertains to living in Rio and existing in Rio and just making it easier for you because Brazil is almost like the United States, right? So you have your regions. You have Californians, people on the West Coast are different from people in New York. People in New York are different from people in Chicago in the Midwest, and Texas from the rest of the country as well in the South. So Rio de Janeiro is just one city in a bunch of cities in Brazil, but Rio is definitely the most popular. So when you're here, I would say before you come, you really would need to get a good understanding of Portuguese. You don't have to be fluent, but you do want to have a firm grasp, if not just being conversational in the language, because Spanish is not spoken here. Many people don't speak Spanish, so Portuguese is necessary, and it'll definitely make your life a lot easier. And that just pertains to all aspects of life, whether it's safety, whether it's just getting around the city, whether it's trying to find places you can go, or whatever the case may be. You need to know how to at least convey your objective to a point. It doesn't have to be fluent again, but it definitely will help. And the locals will appreciate you a lot more for taking the time to learn Portuguese. So it'll definitely set you apart in that degree. I would say the second tip would be you always want to maintain a level of situational awareness. Rio's not the most safest city in the world, but it's not the most dangerous. So you always want to keep your head on a swivel. You don't want to get comfortable in the sense of just getting used to the monotony of maybe the monotony of peace, I should say, right? Because Rio is one of those places that anything can happen at any time, and it doesn't really matter where you are. So you just want to keep your head on a swivel, maintain level common sense. Don't walk around with your phone out. Even though you see other people do it, you definitely can fall into the habit of, they're doing it, so I'll do it too. I never walk around with my phone out. If my phone buzzes or rings, if I'm walking in the street, I'll either wait till I get to where I'm going, or I'll just pull over in a store, walk into a store, answer my messages or respond to a phone call, and then leave again. So that's my tip. Do not walk around with valuables out and about, and just leave your expensive items in your home country at home. You really don't need them. Lastly, you will need to develop a routine. So a routine is definitely going to help you get integrated into Brazilian society. So whether that's going to learn how to dance pagode or bachata or dancing samba, that will definitely help you get normalized within society. I do jiu-jitsu, so if you're somebody that likes to, you've always had the idea of maybe going into the arts and you want to practice, nobody's too old. In fact, in my class today, I had a gentleman in his 50s. So, if you have the willingness to learn, there are certainly people who will teach you. So, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, karate, capoeira, these are all some things that you can, certainly learn while you're in Brazil, in Rio. Again, these are just things here in Rio de Janeiro. Again, the things are going to vary from city to city, but I would say those are the big three. I'll give you another one. I would say if you learn how to dance, you'll definitely gain a lot of points with the locals, whether that's hip hop. Hip hop is big here. if you learn how to dance pagode, if you already know how to dance pagode, but if you know how to dance, you learn how to dance, again, you'll gain a lot of points with the locals. But again, this is Ganway, living in Rio de Janeiro. If you have any questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me. But até logo, até mais tarde. Obrigado, gente.
Hi, my name's Paul. I'm a British expat living in Buenos Aires, Argentina for over 7 years now. So top tips or top things that I've learned by being here for 7 years that I would pass on to anybody considering making a similar move. The first one's a bit of a practical one, and that is get documented. Get your local residency permit. Get yourself a driver's license. It's incredible how much easier your life will be, particularly here. I found in Buenos Aires, people here, if you haven't got documentation, getting cinema tickets can be a bit of a pain. I've got friends ringing me up saying, hey, we really want to go and watch this film. Can you buy some cinema tickets for me? Because I haven't got a DNI. I haven't got a residency permit. I can't hire a car. I can't do this, can't do that. Get yourself a bank account. Get yourself plugged into the system. Make life easy for yourself. Feel part of the city that you live in now. It really is a huge benefit, I think, to be documented and having access to stuff. Buying stuff online, we don't have Amazon down here, but we have something similar. So the Argentine equivalent of Amazon. If you haven't got a DNI, you haven't got a residence permit, you're not buying anything online. You can't. You need it everywhere you go. And if you go into a store, you're paying by debit card or a credit card, they'll ask for ID. So if you pull out your American driver's license or passport, the store clerk might be a bit, what's going on here? Make life easy for yourself. Get yourself a local ID. Second piece is a bit more personal, a bit more spiritual almost, if you like. And the headline is, give yourself permission to change who you are when you move countries. Leave as much of your past life in the past. This might not apply to everyone, it certainly applies to me. Because people say to me, why are you so much happier in Buenos Aires compared to London? And it's a really good question. And I think, because I always say how happy I'm here. I'm so, oh my God, it's so amazing living in Buenos Aires. And London's got good things going for it. But, I wasn't happy in London. And it's not the city that I didn't like in London. And it's not just the city that I love here in Buenos Aires. It's who I have become. I've changed fundamentally who I've become. I've given myself a freedom pass to say the old Paul is gone. And you might think, oh, that's a bit weird. That's a little bit strange. All I want to do is move countries. Fine. So it might not apply to you. But give yourself permission to leave the past in the past and start afresh. I've changed my perspective on life. I've changed my attitude to life. I've even changed a lot of my politics since I came here. I've had a real sort of fresh look at my country, at England and United Kingdom. And I've fundamentally changed a lot about how I think about life. I've changed a lot about my approach to money, approach to work. Very different. I'm a very, very different person from the one who was living in England. So too many expats do complain about what they miss from their old country, their original country. These comparisons are normal. But I think they will hold you back from enjoying your life in a new country. If you just don't let go of the past, you're not going to enjoy your future as much. Hope that makes sense. Good luck.
Hi, this is Megan in beautiful Belize. And the number one lesson that I've learned after living here for 7 years is that no place is perfect. You might be living in a tropical paradise, but you still are going to have hardships and headaches They might just look different than the ones that you're accustomed to in your home country, and probably the way that you navigate and overcome those hurdles is going to look different as well. But hopefully the good continues to outweigh the bad. And the number one advice I would give to retirees or expats considering a move abroad is to just do it. What's the worst that can happen? That you don't like it and you move back or you move on to the next adventure? Just go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
Asking, that is an interesting question. But what is my biggest tip for those looking to move overseas or settle down in another country? Well, I guess it is, don't expect it to be like home. Don't expect it to be like, obviously I'm from England, and one of my biggest points is when I first moved overseas, I was always comparing life to back home in England. Anyone from overseas, I hear a lot of people go, well, it's not like that back home, or we don't do it like this back home. You're not back home. Move on. I'm now living in Chiang Mai, I'm living in Thailand, and I have to accept the ways, the cultural ways, the strange quirks, and all the other points of living in another country. I hear it too often. People are trying to make the country that they moved to more like the country that they left. If you love the country you left so much, why are you moving? Okay? Yes, countries like Thailand are not perfect, but they are pretty damn good. So don't stress it, enjoy it. I hope that helps.
Everything is different from your home country. It's true. I think in your head you will know it, but from your heart it will feel different. And try as best as you can not to judge. There's a reason why life is here like this and why things are here like this nowadays. And try to go with the flow like water. Water adapts to every environment. If you put it pour it into a glass, it will adapt to the shape of the glass and the form of the glass. If it runs down a river, it will run over pebbles. It will avoid or run around stones. And if it's dry, it will turn into another possibility and evapor, as an example. Just to give you this picture, so to adapt whenever it's possible, and of course not losing your roots, but take the best out of two worlds, so two worlds, and taking it and mixing it to your own dough, so to say. Have fun. Instead of being perhaps sometimes embarrassed or frustrated, keep your expectations low and be kind and friendly, but set boundaries, especially when it comes to, I think, people. They sometimes think that people from other countries, they have more than enough money, and compared to most of the people here, especially in Paraguay, it's probably the case. But you need to make sure that you are not a golden oxen, that it's spilling out golden beans. So say, yeah, what's the price, and what is the kind of calculation behind it, and make sure that you help with supporting, baking, selling something, supporting, lending a helping hand. It's not always with money related. So have fun. And if there's anything you have a question on it, don't be shy to comment it, and I will respond via R as soon as possible.
Hello, this is Thor. I'm going to be speaking on the behalf of Brazil. And two key factors. One would be what you should expect as an expat moving overseas. And another is what you should expect when you come to Brazil. I would say the biggest aspect of moving overseas from the US that you probably would see the most drastic would be prices of rent or food or cost of transportation. And the cost is drastic difference from my friends back home to the prices that occur here is more than half the price difference. And the second biggest factor that you would probably see moving overseas is countries is more safe than maybe US. So, I mean, there's a lot of dialect between this, but in my opinion, traveling through 50 countries, I think that most countries in the world is much safer.
Ciao, we're Eileen and Gary from Our Italian Journey.
We're here to give you a little information, what to expect in Italy, and how to get patience. Because if you're coming to Italy, you're gonna need patience. Patience to do anything. It doesn't work very fast. It doesn't work very smooth. It's confusing.
It's the bureaucracy at its finest.
Bureaucracy at its best. So
that's our piece of advice.
Learn patience.
Learn patience. Ciao.
Ciao.
And there you have it, essential tips from expats from around the globe. First, I'd like to thank all of the immigrants and expats that chose to be a part of this podcast. These are people that I've connected with around the globe, and I appreciate them greatly. They've really are outstanding and truly remarkable people. So thank you guys for doing this. Remember, no matter where you choose to live, preparation, proper research, and local knowledge are key to a successful transition. Adventure Freaks can help with this transition by providing detailed living abroad cheap reports that cover all the details you would need to know to make a well-informed decision on a destination. Our living abroad cheap reports cover visa requirements, healthcare, rentals, a breakdown in the cost of living, best neighborhoods to live in, things to do, quality of life factors, and much, much more. You can become a member at adventurefreaks.com and begin to access our vast library of reports to help you find your ideal destination. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this content and found it helpful, please subscribe and hit that like button. It helps us immensely, doesn't cost you anything. And as always, thanks for your support.